Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good this Wednesday morning. As always, guys, if you are enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help out. And of course, make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, because you will be notified, of course. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Tony Gold, what is up? Good morning, good morning. Hope you're well. More as always, hope you're doing good. Welcome to the stream. Beautiful catch on EJ this morning. Yeah, the Yempes took an absolute dive after the news this morning. And yeah, they're looking very, very bearish. So anyone in some sells will be loving life right now. But yeah, you're a JPY. I know you were looking at trading that one yesterday as well. Really nice move to the downside, and we're seeing that across the board. I just missed out on UJ, a little bit annoyed in that, but it happens. I said I was looking for the retest of this area, so I was hoping for a little bit more on the move higher to get that test of that level. Unfortunately, we didn't quite get that, and the market decided on the sell-off that afternoon. So yeah, it's been looking pretty bearish, although I do still have plans for the JPY pairs. I'm still interested in them, and I'll get to that in a moment. But yeah, really, really big sell-off across the board. Good morning, William. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. FX Wolf, okay, selling UJ, I would suppose. People taking advantage of that yen strength that coming in. Holy One of Israel, what is up? US 30. Got some buys from US 30. Yeah, last time I looked, US 30 was looking pretty bullish. We'll go through some indices as well. Pragasar, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Okay, is that your entry? 165, 155. Take profit 163.085. 163.085. Okay, we've already smashed that. Yeah, it was a lovely, lovely drop. But yeah, I mean, that's the story of the Yempes at the moment. We're seeing really, really nice momentum. So if you do catch it right, you do catch it right. Same for some of the Swiss currencies as well. Making up 5 a.m. money never sleeps. Ain't that true? Okay, enter the 30-minute candle. Yeah, I normally look for my entries in the hourly, but yeah, more or less the same thing. What's up, Temel? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. What is up? I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at pound Aussie as well. So, yeah, I mean, my main focus yesterday was UJ. Was looking for the entry on that level, talking about it yesterday, but unfortunately, price just came like 5, 6, 7 pips away from my level, and then absolutely tanked after that. So, unfortunately, did miss that that entry, but not to worry. There's still more opportunities coming our way. Still got a lot of news as well, so I'm expecting more volatility as the week progresses. But yeah, unfortunately missed out on that yen move there on dollar yen. And as we can see across the boards, all the yen pairs kind of made the same move, really big moves down. And yeah, they're still looking pretty bearish at the moment as well. So I wonder if we're going to continue. I did say I'm looking at buys as well for a few of them, UJ, Euro yen, and CAD yen. CAD yen's kind of breaking through the area, so I'm not as interested for that one. Euro yen, I'm interested as we're coming to this high, and same with UJ as well. Now, the buys are quite aggressive given the fact that we're seeing so much bearish momentum, but they are coming back to some nice levels, which I will be interested for some longs, particularly UJ. As we can see here, lovely big level there of resistance. Now, hopefully, will be turn support as well. So that does interest me for some longs, but go be careful, go wait for good confirmations, because at the moment we are really dropping. So there's a good chance we could even break through this area and continue further. So I will be looking for longs, but at the same time, need to be a bit careful and waiting for really good entry signals or really strong signs the market is holding that level before I do go for anything. At the moment, not really seeing much to get me in that position, but I am interested in the long side of things, but we'll have to keep a very close eye on it because, you know, who knows, this momentum could still spew for the rest of the day. But definitely in a nice place for a long, so we'll keep a close eye on that. In terms of pound Aussie, we'll take a look at that time. We had some Aussie news as well. and that caused a lot of weakness for Aussie. And as a result, pound Aussie did take a big push to the upside. We do have a major swing high above us over here. I'm wondering, is that where price is looking to push towards? Now, in the grand scheme of things, price action isn't particularly clear. There's somewhat of an uptrend here on the weekly chart, which looks like it's continuing, but it's not really the clearest one in the world. But we do have this high here, which pretty much looks likely price is going to get there before maybe we do see some big seller step into the market. So probably have a bit more upside in the hands back to 1.99, and then maybe we can talk about some sales later on. But as we can see, another strong impulse to the upside. So if I'm looking at pound Aussie on the low time frames, buys would look good if we can get back to some of these areas, and I'll be looking for that next higher low, because we're seeing some nice swings now. Swing there, correction, bit of consolidation, another bullish swing, another correction, possibly another buy. So if I'm looking at pound Aussie, I'll be looking at longs. If I'm looking at shorts, I'll still wait for a bit more upside back to 1.99. But for now, still looking pretty bullish, really strong close there, and has left behind some nice levels, which we haven't retested yet either. So I would be looking at price coming back to that area. Hopefully a nice corrective move and not just straight down. If it comes straight down, then I'll probably leave that alone, because at that point, it's kind of like a big impulse to another big impulse, which is kind of a sign of reversal. But if you have a corrective move down, it shows that price is taking its time, most likely going to be a pullback. And then we expect a higher low to form. So if you get a nice corrective move back to 1.966, this would be a nice place for a buy. This would be a nice place for a buy. And yeah, it's up to you. Take it back to the swing high, or you've got the daily / weekly targets above us over there. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at pound Aussie. I think more upside is likely, but yeah, we'll need to see a correction after that. Pull back, that maybe entry, but not today. For me, I have 2 positions. It's more than enough. Yeah, I mean, once you do make it a decent trade, sometimes it's good just to sit on it and not give an excuse for the market to try and take it back. What's up, Manny? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Welcome. But yeah, I mean, yen pairs were moving crazy, but so was Aussie itself. Aussie was very, very weak after the news early hours in the morning. Aussie dollar took a dive, as we can see there, really big move down. Aussie CADs, big move down there as well, as we can see there. Of course, we just discussed pound Aussie, big move up there. Euro Aussie likewise, another big move up. Aussie CHF, I think, yeah, big move down. So we are seeing movement across the board, which is good. And I feel like we'll probably see this as the week continues. We've got Fed interest rate later, we've got Bank of England tomorrow, and then we've got NFP on Friday. So I'm just expecting the market to keep this up, which is good for us traders, because momentum is where the money's at. But I was keeping a close eye on pound USD. Yesterday, we did take a little bit of a tumble after some news in the afternoon. And price was looking pretty bearish. Not quite back at the low yet, so I want to see a bit more downside for pound, but this one's still looking like it's brewing up for some nice longs. So I'm keeping a very, very close eye on this for some buys at around the 1.28176 area, which is where we're trading at right now. So I'm looking for this to continue this bullish move. So push, pull back, another push, looking for another pullback for another push. So very straightforward stuff here for pound. However, I do want to see price kind of push back into the lows first, and then I can try and get a stop loss underneath this area here, and then see if I can get some nice entries to take it higher. At the moment, not quite interested just yet. Looking for a little bit more downside. I'll speak about dollar DXY in a moment. I'm hoping we can push a little bit further down first, and then I'll see what we can do in terms of buys. But yeah, I like the fact that pound is so corrective. We've had a long move downs, pretty pretty stretched out, but it's been so corrective. It's not like price has completely just fallen off a cliff and moved down like the yen pairs are doing. It's a very, very corrective move down, which tells me there's a good chance that this is just a pullback for price to continue higher, most likely. Of course, nothing's for certain. We could still melt if price really wanted to, but judging on the price action, how we're moving, looking at probability, we had a lovely impulse here, very, very strong candles driving us higher. Now we're seeing kind of the opposite. So conditions look good, characteristics of the market look good. Just need to find some entries at that low, get a decent stop loss, hopefully get some buys for a push higher. However, that said, DXY does look a little bit not promising for. Actually, it looks okay. I mean, I discussed this one yesterday. I said I do fancy a move down for dollar, but I didn't really say much of a target because I don't really know how far this move will be. We did come up to some areas over here, respect it. We were looking at some rejection. So I did say dollar looks good from down move, but I didn't really give out targets. I mean, I did say this would be obvious areas, but I don't really have a high time frame bias for dollar. So I'm kind of just playing it by ear, really. If we can start showing signs of a trend, then fantastic. I can be a bit more confident with my bias with dollar, but the conditions are just so awful. I've got to kind of take it day by day, week by week. So yeah, at the moment we're seeing some nice momentum. If that does continue, good. That's good for my pound USD idea, because of course if we do see prolonged dollar weakness, that will definitely help out pound USD to the upside. So I'm keeping a close eye for that. Hopefully I can maybe get an entry before the news later tonight for Fed. But we'll see. So it's up to pound. If I see what I need to see, I'll get involved. If not, of course, I won't. Yes, we can take a look at UCC Chef, Tony Gold, looking at gold, pound, yen, USD CAD. Okay, we'll go take a look at some of those markets. Of course, my shorts and longs on NSD CAD during the Asian session. Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm fast asleep during the Asian session, but yeah, NSD CAD did see some nice upside. It's funny because NSD has been particularly strong, and then Aussie's been particularly weak. And of course, they're normally quite similar, but you can see Aussie New Zealand dollar is completely melting right now due to that difference in strength. But anyway, if we go look at gold, so gold did see some upside yesterday. Gold's just being a little bit annoying. I want to see a bit of a move down first before I do get into the buy there. Unfortunately, we didn't quite see price come back into support, unfortunately. So that boat is kind of missed. However, we are coming back to some areas here where sales do look promising. It's not really a move I'm interested in. I'm more interested in selling silver, and I'll break that down in a moment. But gold is coming back to an interesting area for me. And if we can hold this, I do think we can see some downside. Something like that. And then maybe we can discuss some longs at a later date. Maybe we do something like this for another buy. But I'm not quite convinced that gold is about to shoot for the moon. I mean, we could do. Again, the trend's still up, so can't really downplay that. But I think if you're looking for sells, you're in a really great place for it. And if you are looking to sell, you essentially don't want to see price take out this high, at least strongly. If it does take out that high with some conviction, that's a strong sign to me that, okay, gold's probably just going to continue back to the high up there. Maybe a bit of a correction, and they're going to push back to the high at 24.80. So if you're looking for sells in gold, we're in a nice place for it. Coming back into the high there, that's where a lot of momentum came from. That's what gave us a prior low. We've taken out some highs here, so anyone selling early in the week with stop losses above this high would have been taken out. So now that we're coming back into resistance here, this is like the secondary, which you'll be looking to short from. If we can hold, fantastic. I do think we can see something like this happen. If we just go and break through, then that for me kind of invalidates the sells because we've broken structure. And at that point, you probably just expect that higher time frame trend to continue. So I'd watch out for that if we do break the high. Of course, as of yet, we haven't done that. So sells still look good. I'll just be waiting for some entries. Let me drop to the hourly, see how we're looking. Okay, the hourly looks okay. Just a bit of consolidation, but I do like the wick here, showing some rejection to the upside. It'd be nice maybe if you can do another one of those, or just see some momentum back down again. Nice little bearish engulfing like that. That could be a nice little entry signal. Stop loss above the high or above that high if you want to be a bit safer. And then, yeah, look to ride that down. But generally speaking, entries around here, depending how you enter your trades, will look good. Will look really, really good. So, yeah, I do like the gold shorts. but I prefer silver shorts a little bit better, and I'll touch on that in a moment. Let me just go through pound yen, pound yen, and USD CAD. So with pound yen, so yeah, after this massive move down, what is next for the yen pair as well? At the moment, there's still a lot of bearish momentum, so we could probably see more downside for the rest of the day potentially. But they are approaching big levels on the higher time frame. So I do expect buyers to be stepping back into the market. I do think sellers will be taking their take profits, looking at just taking positions off, because we've already had such a huge move down. For pound yen from the high to the low, this is about 1,500 pips. So it's a really big move for this one, and rightly so. We came up to some big heights there, so you would expect to see retracement. But as we come back to some of these areas, even this area down there, if we continue falling, I do expect to see a reaction. Now, will the trend continue back to the high? I don't know, possibly, but I do expect just at least to see a bounce. And that's kind of what I'm interested for the yen pairs right now, because we've seen massive moves down. I'm looking for a bit of a bounce to the upside. It may just be a pullback, but that's kind of what I'm interested in. Pound yen now isn't my favorite yen pair, because the level I'm trading for isn't that obvious as compared with dollar yen or euro yen. But we do have a bit of a high over there, which price is coming into, which we may bounce and see a pullback from. So if you're looking at opportunities, you can either play it two ways. Either you're looking to try and anticipate the buys, to try and anticipate that pullback happening, or you just keep that bearish bias because we're still seeing so much bearish momentum. Big sell off there, big sell off there. So you're just waiting for another pullback to happen. Maybe retest some structure up here, look for your next sell, be on your way. So it just depends what buys you have, or you can have both as well. You're looking to try and take advantage of the buys on a pullback, and then you're looking to sell when we start getting to some nice areas to do so. So it's up to you how you want to tackle that. If you want to play it safe and just stick with momentum and look for the easier trade, it will just be looking for sells in these conditions. Certainly if you're working on the 4 hour and below. And this looks like a really nice level for that. So if you do see a correction like this, that would be a nice little sell to take advantage of. But if you're looking for buys, we're in a nice area for it. The things we want to see is rejection, which is what we're starting to see with that previous hourly candle. If you can keep that up, maybe show some more signs, maybe a nice strong bullish engulfing, that could be a nice buy. It definitely is going to be an aggressive trade, but you're in a nice area for it. The market's quite stretched. The conditions are right. But of course, it's just going to be a bit more of an aggressive trade given the momentum we are seeing. But yeah, that's kind of my outlook on pound yen. And it's a very similar outlook for most of the yen pairs. USD CADs, that one was still pushing higher, wasn't it? Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of stalling a little bit now. Probably rightly so. Are we coming to the weekly level? No, not quite yet. So I do think price can probably push a little bit higher for USD CAD back to 1.388. This high here, big rejection, another one there as well. I think there's a good chance we probably get there too. So I think price might still kind of crawl a little bit higher for USD CAD. Something like this, a nice little dip this morning, that could propel us higher. Could dip again potentially before another move higher, but I do think we can keep pushing. And then if you're looking for some sells, this is the area I would be looking at, back at that weekly resistance, see what type of price action we can get up there, and that could be a nice place for a sell. Not really looking at USD CAD myself, but if I had to, the sells look good up there. Unless you're on the lower time frames and you're kind of looking at smaller pullbacks, then you might find some nice trades there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD CAD as well. Not my favorite dollar pair at the moment. Still not really a big fan of dollar pairs, although I really do like pound USD to the upside. Okay, Manu, I will take a look at USD JPY, FX Wolf, Euro Yen we'll take a look at as well. Morning, Anis, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. NHD, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Follow the trend. Yes, we'll take a look at Euro Aussie, reaching some big resistance levels for sells. Okay, we'll discuss that. What's up, Philip? Welcome to the stream. I'm doing good. Hope you're well. Missed out some Aussie and yen movements. Yeah, big time, big movements. Yeah, I mean, of course, in hindsight, you would love to be in a move like that. But don't take it too personally, because these moves, they do happen frequently in the market. Maybe not as aggressive. The yen pairs, probably one of the most aggressive currency pairs there is, but there's always moves out there, especially with the week we've got, like this week, the Fed in the evening, Bank of England tomorrow, and NFP. We're going to see more moves happen. So don't take it to heart. Of course, I was looking at dollar yen. I kind of missed this trade by like 5 or 6 pips. It was just very, very close to my level. We didn't quite get there. Yeah, on another day, maybe another alternate universe, it did hit the level and I did get the trade, but unfortunately I didn't. So yeah, that's just trading. Sometimes it can be a bit annoying like that. But the key thing is there's still momentum in the market, which is good. The market isn't really drying up. The market's still moving a lot, which means opportunities are most likely around the corner. So yeah, big news in the early hours of the morning for Aussie and yen. Of course, some price action, and probably going to see some of that as the week continues as well. So stay on your toes, but obviously be careful, because at the same time, lovely moves, but if you're on the wrong side of it and you're not being disciplined, you can hurt yourself as well. So make sure you're being smart too. But yeah, for UJ, I'm actually looking for buys. Now, there is a lot of bearish momentum, as I previously discussed here with the yen pair. So the buys are definitely aggressive positions. I'm happy with it, given the fact of where we're trading on the higher time frames of the weekly chart. We're now pushing into this level here, massive resistance over there as well. This, of course, will be turn support. Whether the market's going to hold this or not, we'll find out. But this is a sensible place for longs. Just need to be patient and accurate with the entries, because otherwise we could still keep melting. And this is definitely a very bearish market in the 4 hour. So I will be looking for entries here on the hourly chart, but at the moment everything's still bearish. So I'm definitely sitting on the sidelines at the moment. But if things develop, more wicks, more rejection, maybe a nice candle closure, I will look for some entries to try and take this higher. And yeah, and I will be looking for buys there for dollar yen. If you're looking for sells, then again, you're kind of looking for another pullback for a push up higher. The only thing I don't like about the sells now is that we're actually trading in that big level. So massive resistance, turn support here on the weekly chart. So looking to sell the market to that level made a lot of sense. Hence why I was looking for sells at the start of the week. I was looking for sells up there to sell it into that level. Now that we've made the move into the level, the sells don't look pretty good. I mean, there's still a lot of momentum and we could still break through the area. So I can definitely understand people looking for corrections and continuations. But this is bullish territory for me, high time frame. So I'm only going to be looking for buys in this area. So yeah, that's kind of my outlook for dollar yen. In terms of euro yen, it's a similar situation. If I go to the weekly chart, as you can see, we're coming into this high. And in fact, it looks like prices almost breaking through it as well. But we are in a really strong level of support. So again, looking to see if we can react and see some upside. Again, the key thing is seeing how we react in the lower time frames. At the moment, looking very, very bearish. So yeah, sitting on the sidelines for now, but who knows? Things can change very quickly. So keep a close eye, but yeah, still looking pretty bearish. But I am looking for upside from this area. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with dollar yen and euro yen. I do think it's time to see some upside. Now, will it just be a pullback or a massive reversal? Again, not too sure. It's an area where we could see a reversal, but it's going to take a lot of doing, because this is a hefty fall. We're going to have to see some hefty price action, from that area to get a reversal. Anyway, so I'll go through Euro Aussie as well. If I have missed out a pair, let me know. Dollar CHF, Manny, I was supposed to take a look at that one, wasn't I? So yeah, I'll go through USD CHF. We'll take a look at Euro Aussie as well. Pound CHF, we'll take a look too. Let me just go through dollar CHF. So yeah, USD CHF did see some downside yesterday. We're discussing some shorts at this area. Nice little reaction there. Kind of like I had a trend line coming in, maybe not a perfect one, didn't quite come into that area. I was discussing this low here, which we just about came for the retest on. And the fact is we're still seeing pretty clean, lower lows and lower highs. So the shorts did look good. The only thing I didn't like about USD CHF yesterday was the fact that we were coming into this low again. which I said could make for a nice take profit. We did smash through that and actually broke through as well. So potentially, if dollar keeps up that weakness we've been seeing, where is DXY? So delete it. So yeah, if dollar keeps up that weakness we've been seeing, then that of course will help out USD CHF to the downside. CHF is generally strong anyway. So that should help out USD CHF as well. But yeah, we could be seeing a push back to the low. So if you weren't already in the trade up here, I kind of would say you're late to the party a little bit. And yeah, you kind of want to look for the next wave, because this is kind of where you want to enter. If you're entering now in here, it's going to be a bit of an awkward place to enter. Not that you can't get, not that, excuse me, not that you can't get a good entry and a successful trade. It's just that, yeah, you'd want to enter up there. If you're entering now, you're prone to kind of just a random fake wick somewhere, getting stopped out and seeing price moving direction. If you're up here, of course, nothing's perfect. You can still get stopped out, but at least you've got a safe stop loss above the high. And now you're just in a smarter place to trade from, because you can try to stop loss, be a bit more cautious, bank profit on the way, higher up, better risk to reward. So there's so many pluses trying to catch the high than trying to get involved over here somewhere. So if you're not there, I feel like the ship has sailed. So I would wait for the next swing. So if you do crack the low and push on again, then yeah, you would be like waiting for the next pullback, nice little correction, and something like that. At least that way you can look to try and anticipate the high again. So yeah, that is what I'll be eyeing up for dollar CHF. But at the moment in time, looking pretty bearish. Okay, so I'll go look at Euro Aussie next, and we'll take a look at pound CHF as well. Gold having a bullish bias. Yes, I'm pretty bullish on gold as well. I'm only looking to buy, however, just not in a good place for a long. So I wouldn't really touch the buys right now. DXY, please fake out or pull back to 104. Okay, I'll discuss that in a moment. What's up, Tetelestai? Hope you're well. Eurocads. Okay, we'll take a look at Eurocad as well. First, let me go through Euro Aussie. So yeah, with Euro Aussie, another big move higher. Of course, a big Aussie dollar had a big part to play in terms of pushing price higher. We are coming into resistance up here. This was that last major swing high, which gave us this low. So we're definitely coming into a meaningful area where you could see some sellers coming into the market and move down. However, you can see the way the market's moving. It's different now. Previously, we've been very, very corrective on our moves down. Now you can see with this move, it's just a whole different type of move. Just so much momentum involved, a lot of force. We're pushing high. So because of that, there's a good chance we're probably going to break through this high eventually. Now, will we break through in the first attempt? I don't know. Might retrace a little bit, then go break through, or maybe even a bigger retracement, then break. But there's a good chance we break out of this, because it does look like price has just had a massive correction, and it looks like that correction is now finished, and possibly price is doing this now. Something similar to this move could be happening again. So I do expect us to break that high and break that high, and probably break that high as well. So I think there's a lot more upside likely to be seen for Euro Aussie, but this is not the time to buy, of course, since you've already seen a strong up move. We're back at resistance again, drop to the 4 hour. This is not the time to be looking to buy the market. We're just taking out some highs here. There's a good chance we could see a bit of a correction coming up. So if you're looking for some bullish entries on the lower time frames, hourly, maybe 30-minute, I'll be looking out for some areas over here, or even areas back over here for some entries. And then, yeah, looking for another swing to the upside. That would make a lot of sense. Something similar to pound Aussie, correction down there and a buy. Euro Aussie, of course, a similar pair. correction back over here, and then a buy, of course. So yeah, I'll be focusing my efforts around 1.65778 or 1.656. If you're looking for sells, then yeah, we're at a nice place for a sell, I suppose, being at that level. But I think there's a good chance it's just going to be a pullback. So I do think we'll eventually break through this. So the buys could be where the meat is, where we have the bigger move. If you're looking just for a shorter term trade, then sells look good now, but I don't think we'll go too far before we see buyers step back in. So it's up to you what you want to do with this market, buy or sell. If you're bearish bias, you're looking for sells kind of around now. If you're looking for buys, then you want to see price pull back a little bit. And these are the areas you're looking for your longs. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie as well, for that matter. Pretty similar situations for both of them. Okay, so Pound CHF, we'll take a look at Pound Yen. We'll go through DXY and gold. Pound CHF did see some downside. CHF pairs are pretty weak. That was kind of my worry with the CHF pairs, because I marked out a few levels this week on the CHF pairs, discussing this area. Euro CHF, I was talking about this area. Aussie CHF, I was talking about this area, which has kind of been a theme for me this week. And CAD CHF, I was talking about this area here as well. So it's just the market was just too bearish, really. Again, I'm a big fan of my break and retest. That's where I'm looking for my entries. But unfortunately, CHF and yen as well, for that matter, were just too strong this week. And it makes sense because there was so much momentum from last week. So maybe I was being a little bit too optimistic with the pullbacks and where I was looking to take my entries from. But then again, there was no other reasonable level for me to short from anyway. So there's not much I can do within the confinements of my plan. But yeah, CAD CHF, I was looking for the retest of that level. It looks like it's selling off already. Euro CHF, looking for the retest of that level. Looks like it's selling off already. Pound CHF, likewise there as well. I did touch on this area in the low time frames. There's a brief level of support there in the hourly. I said we might sell off from there, but I'm still looking for the test of that level. And of course, that's exactly where we sold off from. But again, just because of the conviction of the market, we're seeing really strong impulse correction. Yeah, it's a very, very tidy price action. So I would only be looking at pullbacks, looking at lower highs, and looking to short from retest. So in terms of the plan and what I want to do with the market, it's pretty straightforward. Just looking for that entry. But Pound CHF, I would still expect more downside back to this level here, at least at 1.22. And I would still expect lower prices than that, really, because we could be eventually working our way back to that low. But for now, we'll just keep this low in mind. So again, if you're looking for entries, how are you going to go about it? Again, of course, hindsight is a wonderful thing, but ideally you want to be in the trade already. Looking to enter now is not the best time, given the fact that we're coming back into lows. This is our price support. We're back there again. I suppose a break and retest of that could look good, depending on the break, depending on the retest. That could be a nice little trade. If the market wants to come up again, that would be nice. Maybe double top it at that high. And that could be a nice little trade there. Of course, if we come up there, fantastic as well, but I highly doubt we make that move. So I would say if you're looking for some trades, this is kind of how I would go about it. Either the retest of the low or the retest of the high. And then, looking to take it back to that low there. But Pound CHF to me still looks really, really bearish. At some support now, so not the best time to sell. But if we pull back, Pound yen we'll take a look at, and we'll go through gold and dollar. Euro CAD we'll take a look as well. Still looking for some sell coming. Yes, I'll discuss that. No problem, Manny. Happy to help. What is up? Rick, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. How long have we been trading? Over 7 years now. Rid1. Euro CHF, okay, we'll take a look as well. Let me go through pound yen. So pound yen, that one took a big dive. This one didn't retrace much, to be fair. It would be difficult to kind of try and catch this move because effectively all we did was have a really heavy sell-off from last week, bit of consolidation really, and then we're just in another drop. So, I mean, yeah, not much retracement given the fact we had such a big sell-off, but the market did sell off. So again, pound yen, I touched upon this one briefly. I said we're in a nice area where, again, we could see a bit of retracement, but there's still so much momentum in the market. So if you're still looking for sells, I think that's still the best bet. However, of course, you want to see a bit of a correction now and price coming back to some structure before looking for a sell. So very, very simple here. Just wait for a pullback. And then you can start looking for some entries, unless you're already in the trade, of course. But yeah, you're looking for a pullback, and hopefully we can see a bigger pullback this time because we were quite shallow there. Sometimes the market will make a very shallow pullback, then the next pullback will kind of make up for it and be a big pullback. So hopefully we see something like that. But yeah, shorts from, what was that, 196 look pretty good to me. And then yeah, wherever we create that low, that would be your target. Keeping things simple, but yeah, still a lot of momentum there for pound yen. So yeah, for DXY, Blessing mentioned, is DXY a fake out or a pullback to 104.049? So is this a fake out? So you're asking if this is a fake out of the range, basically, or is price having a push, a pullback to go up? To me, I would say fake out, given how price is moving. Because typically pullbacks are not really so aggressive like this. We don't normally see pullbacks in like an impulse up, consolidation, and then an impulse down. That's not really characteristic of a pullback. This is more of a reversal. Pullbacks typically look like this: impulse up, and then a slow pullback, a slow corrective move like that. That's your typical pullback. Of course, not all the time, but on average, your pullbacks are going to look like this and not like this. This is more of a reversal pattern. It's like a V shape or a U shape inverse. So I would expect this to be some type of reversal sign. We may pull back a little bit to form another lower high, but I do think we'll probably break lower and start looking at these lows here as targets. So that's kind of where I'm expecting DXY to end up, given the momentum, given how price is moving. I mean, this 4-hour candle is about to close in an hour and 16 minutes. So we'll see that by the end of the stream. But what I can say is, yeah, I would think that is just a fake out, price doing its job, taking out some trades on the wrong side of the market with this move. And now it's probably got some nice liquidity to make its move back to the low. But yeah, to me, that's just a fake out, most likely. So I'm expecting price to push into 103.700, which can probably help out me on pound for my longs, although I do want to see a bit more downside before I do take my entries. So I kind of want to see price push down a little bit, but I'll keep a close eye. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for dollar. Again, I'm kind of taking dollar day by day, week by week, just because it's just it's so corrective at the moment. So I can't look into the price action in too much detail, especially the daily chart, because I have no idea what price is doing. Like I said, I've got a feeling we're going to do something like this, but you never want to trade off a feeling. You want to trade off, hardcore, clean, crisp price action. Of course, feelings have some use, and I think feelings is the wrong word. I think instinct is a better word to sum it up. Come on now. Just delete it. So yeah, instinct is a better word. Feeling is not a good word at all. So yeah, I do have an instinct that price is probably going to break lower longer term, but yeah, it's not concrete. Other markets look clearer. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking at for DXY. And in terms of gold, as I said, I am bullish bias. It's just not in a place to buy. I was looking for buys this week if the market is sold off back to the low, and then I'll be looking for entries back down there again. But unfortunately, we kind of sold off halfway or 2/3 of the way, and then price decided it wanted to be bullish, and yeah, had a big move up. But for me, this is still bearish territory. This is still bearish territory coming back into the high there. I would not be looking to buy at all. This is where sellers will be stepping into the market, and previous buyers will be looking at taking some profit there as well. If we do go and break structure here, so we take out this high, then yeah, I would say, okay, the bears are kind of being invalidated. And I think there's a good chance we do push back to the high. But if you're looking for a sell, this is the place to be. Of course, still kind of waiting for confirmations. I'm not saying jump straight into a sell. Absolutely not. Price is still relatively bullish. Want to see some conviction to the downside first before looking to enter. But it definitely is a good location for sell entries. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with gold. In terms of silver, I'm looking for some shorts as well. I've been discussing this area all week. I said if silver does move up into this area, I will look for some sells. Now, the only thing I don't like about silver, and again, this might be me being a bit picky, but it's for a good reason. Again, I'm not the big fan of how prices retraced up. Again, touching upon that DXY note about we had an impulse up, consolidation, and then an impulse down. This is more of a sign of a reversal rather than continuation. We're kind of seeing that in the opposite way. Impulse down, consolidation, impulse up. So not really good. The only thing going for this is that the market is a little bit corrective in the move up, and we've only moved up kind of like halfway. Whereas DXY, we've kind of completely erased the full move. So that one looks a lot more convincing. But I'll still keep an eye on silver just in case if things develop well. At the moment, looking in the hourly chart, it's not looking great for entries anyway. So yeah, I will keep an eye. This is still a nice place for a short, but it may just be short term. We will see. There's nothing there yet at the moment. Okay, where was I? Okay, so EuroCHF we'll take a look at. As what is up, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. As the USD CAD CHF we'll take a look at too, no problemo. You're new here, welcome. Hope you're doing good. No, I stream from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So basically kind of the end of London, coming into the start of New York, is when I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time, that is. So yeah, feel free to join whenever you're available. But yeah, I go through market share analysis, what I'm looking at from any trades. People share their trades if they want, discuss trades or markets they want to talk about, and have a good time whilst doing it as well. And that goes for everyone as well. If you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to show some love, subscribe, drop a like as well. It does really help out the channel, of course. And make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, because of course you will be notified. And check out the Discord channel as well, completely free to join. I have pinned that at the top of the chat. Again, I'm on there, share trades, other people talk about their trades, things they're looking at, discuss with other traders, chat about prop firms as well. So make sure you're there for that. Anyway, so we'll go through EuroCAD, then we'll take a look at EuroCHF. So he asked if we're still in that area. Yes, we're still in that area for sells. Haven't really gone anywhere since we last spoke. I think we kind of just moved sideways, really. But this is still a nice place for a short in my eyes. As you can see, solid resistance there, really big sell-off to the downside. Nice kind of correct to move back up there again. If I drop to the 4 hour, you can see we're still kind of moving in that ascending channel. Actually might have broken out of it a little bit. Yeah, but it's not convincing at all. So again, the idea is still the same. I kind of still want to see another move back to the high and then look for some sells like that, and get a stop loss above the wick high over there. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm going to be looking at for EuroCAD. Again, not really a pair I'm looking at myself, but if I had to, I will be looking at sells at this area, and I would be looking for entries right at the high. right at the high. You can look for safe entries if you want to wait for a break of structure and then some retest. Now we get into the market a little bit later, but at least you can be a bit more convinced that structure shifted and we're likely going to continue that falling over. But this is a really nice level. So if you do push up, kind of looking for a double top or just a higher high, then you're looking for a short there afterwards. But yeah, still looking for sells in this area. This could be your plan A. And then this could be your, well, plan A as well if you want to add to your trades. Yeah, that'll be up to you. But both look good. This one's just a bit more aggressive, but better risk reward, bit safer, not as good risk rewards. And sometimes you don't always get the entry, but still a good place for an entry as well. So yeah, that's kind of how I'll look at EuroCAD. In terms of Euro CHF, what's up, Mighty King? Yes, we'll take a look at Aussie CAD as well. In terms of Euro CHF, so yeah, Euro CHF, another one that kind of sold off a little bit without me, unfortunately. So really, really big move again. CHF being strong yesterday. I still do think there's more downside in the market, likely going to push to this low here. So shorts do still look good, but again, if you didn't enter up here, you're kind of a little bit late to the party. I'm late to the party as well. I was looking for the test up there, never happened, unfortunately. Now price has seen some downside. Now we're trading back at this low. Yeah, I've kind of missed the boat on that. So unless we come back up again, which would be very, very nice of Euro CHF if it's going to do that, come back, test the high, look for some entries around that area. Again, this is still the level I was talking about. So for some reason, if we push up there, fantastic. I'll still look for some trades, but I highly doubt we make that move. I think best case scenario, we might make a move back to the high, then sell off. So this could be a great place for an entry. But yeah, I'm expecting price to push into that low there. So bit more downside, but not the time and place to be looking for shorts now. Effectively, you already want to be in the trade. If you're not, kind of waiting for another up move to see if that will happen, and then find some entries that way. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Euro CHF. Very, very bearish on the CHF pairs in general. Okay, CAD CHF, we'll take a look as well. Whilst we're at the CHF pairs and NZUSD, we'll take a look too. Aussie CAD, pound CHF as well. Okay, Russ, yen trend reversal in play, possibly. I mean, we did come up to some areas on the higher time frames, and when I mean higher time frames, I mean like the monthly chart, where it makes sense for a reversal. If I go to like pound yen, for example, in the monthly chart, and really zoom out, you can see this is like the overall trend for the past like 3-4 decades. We've been making these crazy highs over here, and they're kind of in that area where we could be making another one. You can see the last high we made, we just about pinched that previous high, and then we had a massive sell-off. Looks like potentially price is doing that again, and we could still again have a massive sell-off as well. So we're definitely in an area where we could be seeing a reversal, and there's a few yen pairs that are in a similar situation to this as well. I think Euro yen is kind of in a similar situation, taking out that high as well. Could see price drop. So yeah, we're in an area where we could see a reversal. Is it confirmed yet? I wouldn't say it is. I wouldn't say it is, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of bearish momentum. And looking for sales in these conditions, it does look very good, I must admit. I wouldn't say fully confirmed, but if it does come up to this area again, I would say that would be a good sell. Holy One of Israel. Only got 3 months left to trade. What does he mean by that? Stops trading October for many reasons. What, he does that every year? Stops trading in October every year, or is this year different in particular that he's going to stop trading in October? I mean, for me, I'm going to carry on as always till December, and wild stop 3 months. I mean, I'm sure he's got his reasons, and yeah, to be honest, it doesn't concern me. So if he wants to stop in 3 months to go, fair play to him. But yeah, I mean, I don't see an obvious reason why you stop. Anyway, so Eurocad I had a look at. We'll take a look at CAD Chef, and we'll go through NZUSD. So yep, CAD Chef, same boat as Euro really. So I was looking for the retest of this low. This was actually, I think, the bonus pair for this week. To be honest, I still do think there's a long way to go for CAD Chef. This here is the all-time low for CAD Chef, and I do think we'll eventually take that out pretty soonish. If I expand to the higher time frames, you can see we've been falling since the beginning of the time, really. So the chances are we're going to create some new lows, especially with the momentum we're seeing at the moment. So yeah, CAD Chef, nice little pullback there, just wasn't big enough for my liking. Again, we may still push up one more time. So if we're looking at some entries, this is kind of what we want to see happen. Another move back up again, back into the high, or even better if you can move into the low there. And then, yeah, find some entries at these areas, because now is not the time and place to look to take any trades. Whilst we're at the low here, we need price to push up again, test some areas, and then find some shorts. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll be looking at for CAD Chef. But yeah, in terms of direction, pretty straightforward. Seeing a lot of bearish momentum, markets consistently breaking lows. If you look at the higher time frames, daily, weekly, monthly, seeing a bunch of momentum in that direction there as well. So yeah, I would only be looking for shorts for CAD Chef, at least back to the all-time swing low, which is around 0.63. So yeah, expecting more downside until we get there. And this is kind of the setups I'm after. I'll have a look at NZUSD next, Aussie CAD as well, pound Chef. Silver, okay, we'll take a look at that, Samuel. Okay, big institutions. Stop then, normal trade 6 months. Yeah, okay, I didn't know that. I mean, that's up to them, to be honest. I've been trading October, November, December for the past, well, like 6 years at least, 7 years. So yeah, I don't see any reason to stop. Again, the markets are there for all to be seen. You can go and test your strategy in the last few months of the year, October, November, December. If you're not seeing results then, of course, maybe don't trade that time. But if you're seeing positive results in that time as well, then why would you stop? I'm not a big institution. I'm just a retail trader. So if the big institutions stop, doesn't really concern me really. If the market is still moving, there's still money to be made. It's different if I wasn't seeing success in those months, then of course I would go around that, either not trade it or try and fix it. But yeah, I don't see any problem with that. But yeah, I know a few who like to take December off as well. And I do take the last 2 weeks off of December, because no, not the last 2 weeks, the last week, because you got Christmas and New Year's in a short space of time, and the markets are a little bit dead there as well, and you've got holidays as well. So I understand that completely, but the last 2-3 months, not sure about that. Nice, my man. Exactly. If the markets are moving, there's opportunities. But of course, it's each their own. If you don't want to trade, no one's going to force you. Anyway, ends the USD. So yeah, we're seeing a bit of a bounce, and rightly so. Price had a really big sell-off, and it's coming back into a nice level of support. So naturally, you would expect the market to take a bit of a breather. How far is this move going to go? Now, I actually expect us to eventually break through that low and push into this area here. So I don't expect it to go too far. I don't expect us to go too far because we're still keeping up just about these lower highs here. So even if we do push up, I just expect another lower high to form and us to come back down again. So yeah, I do think it's a matter of time before we get there. It just depends how far price wants to push up first before we do break through. But yeah, in terms of opportunities, again, looking for buys here would have made sense. I feel like that boat is kind of sailed right now. So if you're not really in the buys, unless you come back down for a nice little double bottom, then maybe that could be a nice opportunity there. If not, you kind of want to see price push up higher, retrace, put in that next lower high, and then we'll be on our way again. The only problem I have is I don't really have a concrete level which I'd look to short from. I mean, I do. It's just very, very far up. This low here would be very nice, but we've just fallen so aggressively. It's difficult to see price make the move all the way up there just to retest it to come back down. Could happen, but I think it's pretty slim. So that's my only kind of conundrum with NZUSD. I know I want to short this move up. I want it to move up higher first of all. And then when it gets to a decent point, I'll look to sell. But I just don't have a concrete level in this vicinity, which makes sense to short from apart from this one. So yeah, it's kind of a similar situation as with the C-share pairs as well. I was looking for shorts up this area here, kind of moved halfway and then sold off. I got a feeling NZUSD will probably do something similar. Push up halfway, find a high somewhere, maybe a call into price action on the lower time frames, and then again sell off. So it's something we're gonna have to stay on your toes for. But at the moment, we're seeing a bit of a bullish reaction, and yeah, it would make sense. The market's sold off pretty heavily. We've come into a big level on the daily, weekly chart, so seeing some upside does make a lot of sense. So if you're looking for some bullish entries, you want to see price come back down again, retest the low, look for some entries to take it higher. And then we can go from there. But yeah, a lot of bearish momentum. It's funny because pound USD, I'm trying to swing this to the upside, which is a dollar pair. At the same time, NZUSD, I have a bearish bias, and I think we're going to continue bleeding. And that's why I don't really like the dollar pairs right now, because I'm very torn. Some dollar pairs to me look really bullish. Some look very bearish. It's not the first time. It's not the first time that happens. But I like it when everything is in sync and everything is correlating. All the dollar pairs are moving the same direction. In that case, you're just looking at pullbacks in all of them, just picking the best one. But when you have them contradicting each other, it makes things a little bit more awkward. But at the same time, as a trader, you just got to take a really good trade. You want to keep things simple. All you're doing is taking a good trade that fits your plan well. As long as you do that, there's not much else you can do. If pound USD gives me a good opportunity, I'm all over that. I'll take the trade, even with some doubts I have with dollar. Again, worst case scenario, I take a stop loss. I will predetermine my risk beforehand, so it's not like I will be taking a massive loss and betting my whole account on it. Where was I? Okay, so Aussie CAD Mighty King, I'll take a look at. Pound Chef, we'll take a look at as well. Silver Samuel, we'll take a look. Am I bullish on dollar? Not really. I'm more bearish on dollar. Again, don't really have a longer term view on it, but I think given the current price action on the DXY, it does look like I'll be expecting price to push into that low. This to me looks like a big fake out. This move here looks like a big fake out to me of the range we had. Looks like price just about spiked into this low here. So in my eyes, it looks like price is just ranged, spiked into the high. Bullish momentum has failed, and now we're kind of getting a reversal. So I would expect us to end up back at that low. Maybe we take one more move up before the sell. I mean, at the moment, we're seeing a lot of momentum right now. So maybe we just break straight through. But I think there's a greater chance that we push back to the low here rather than push back to the high. So yeah, I would be bearish for the time being. But then, yeah, if we get to that low, I don't really know what my next move is. I mean, if we can break it aggressively, fantastic. Then, yeah, I would be very bearish, looking at pullbacks and downside. But if we start bouncing from that low again, yeah, things get awkward. But for now, I would say I'm bearish. I'm looking to long pound as well. So I'm keeping a close eye on it. But again, price action is just weird. I mean, what is this? Pound fix up, man. I mean, euro looks like it's trying to push bullish, but again, it's still very corrective as well. Yeah. So a nice level pound. I just wanted to see it push into the low, this low here, so I can get a better stop loss, because I know, especially with a day like today, if I just move this out of the way, there'll be a lot of people trying to look for entries here with a stop loss just underneath here. And that stop loss there is asking for a lot of trouble, because you've got the low here, especially with the Fed interest rate this afternoon. There's a good chance you could see price, look all, look all good. Price seeing some upside. News comes out, big spike to the downside, takes your stop loss, takes this low, and then you see the move happen. I've seen that happen way too many times. So a stop loss here wouldn't feel right. I mean, there's a chance that maybe you catch the move and it flies, but yeah, it's just not the best stop loss. So you can still enter there. You just have to give yourself a bit of room to work with, which of course will skew the risk reward. But if you're looking for a big swing, shouldn't matter too much if you catch a nice runner. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound. Okay, so yeah, pound USD stalling so long, 100%, William. Taking its time, taking its time. But yeah, I like it though. I like it that it's taking its time, because it shows that it's likely going to be a pullback anyway. If it was really falling hard like the yen pairs are doing, then that would put me off the longs. But because it's so corrective and it's really taking its time, it means that price is really struggling on this move down, and it's likely going to push higher. Just need to wait for good timing. But yeah, you're right, it is taking forever. Because yeah, I went long on this one last week around here. I got took out break even, and I'm still looking for the same move a week later. Okay, where was I? Okay, yep. NZD CAD, throw that into the mix as well. Okay, I'll take a look at dollar yen. Okay, FX. So if you're looking to long dollar yen as well, took you out break even, long from 151.887. Okay, let me just go through a couple more pairs and then I'll discuss it. All right, no problem. All have a good one, my man. Take care. Enjoy your day. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow. Yes, a few questions on dollar yen. Okay, let me go through Aussie CAD, pound CHF, and silver. Then I'll go through dollar yen in detail, because it's actually a pair I'm looking to trade myself. So yeah, with Aussie CAD, this one took a bit of a dive today. In the early hours of the morning, because of course Aussie was doing some Aussiness, and yeah, it was just very, very weak. So big move down from Aussie CAD. And again, as I've been saying, I don't really have a clear-cut bias for this one. I mean, higher time frames, it is somewhat of a bearish trend, and it looks like we're kind of rejecting a big level here. So I kind of have a bearish bias due to that, and maybe we are going to see another big sell-off back to the low, but it's kind of consolidation, if anything, as well. So I don't want to read too much into price. It's just not a great pair to trade at the moment. But yeah, I would have that longer term bearish bias. At the moment, if you're looking to trade Aussie CAD, you've had a big sell. yeah, we're coming to some areas where we're likely going to see retracement, but I would still keep an eye on the short. So as we push back into this area, that would be an area for some shorts to try and catch that next swing low. Hopefully we get a nice corrective pullback, and then that will be a nice little short. If price starts flying up higher like this, then that's a bit of a red flag. You don't want to see an impulse down and an impulse back up again. That shows indecision and most likely a reversal at play. If you can take our time moving up, that's beautiful. Like we did over here, nice impulse down, then price was quite corrective on its way up, even though it didn't move up too far, but it was fairly corrective there. If we can see something similar of that nature back up again, then yeah, this range looks good for a short, trying to catch that next lower high and just take it back to the low. So that's kind of how I would be looking at Aussie CAD. Not the best price action in the higher time frames, but there's still a lot of bearish momentum there in the lower. So still looking to take advantage of that. In terms of pound CHF, so again, as I stated with pound CHF, if you're not already in the sell, the boat has kind of left the station a little bit. We're looking for a push back into this low here, so that's the target for pound. I said if you're looking for entries, a retest of the high there will look good, or if you can break and retest, that could look good too, depending on the break, depending on the retest. But generally speaking, we're looking for that next lower high for a push back into this low here, and possibly beyond that as well. But yeah, if you're not already involved up here, you don't want to be looking for entries now at all. This is the worst place to be looking to sell. And I wouldn't be looking at buys either. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll be looking at for pound CHF, bigger pullback, or break and retest. In terms of silver, I'm looking for shorts. I want to see a bit more development with the price action. But as we come into this area, I'm looking for a sell. Nice impulse down last week. Correction. Another impulse down. Looks like another correction. So now I want to see a continuation of that as we come back into the low. Now, with the silver shorts, I'm not expecting anything crazy. I think it's going to be short term. It's one of those trades where you catch it and it might go a long way, or it might just push a little bit in your favor and stop you out break even. Maybe stop you out for a loss as well. Let's not forget that possibility. But yeah, it's one of those trades which might play out really big because, like I said, with silver, really big fake out there. So I do think we're going to have another big move down. But at the same time, I'm not going to rule out the possibility of this trend just having a really big correction and us continuing higher. So I'm looking at shorts here, and we'll see what price has in store for me. In terms of entries, nothing there just yet. A lot of sideways price action. So maybe if you push up this afternoon, show some rejection, nice bearish engulfing, that would be my entry there. Stop loss above the high. Let's make sure we can see it. Stop loss above the high. Ooh. There we go. And then try and catch some entries to the downside. That would be my trade. I like it because both silver and gold are in areas to short from. So a bit of synchronicity there. Anyway, we'll touch on dollar yen. A few people talking about it. So yeah, I'll go into that in detail. Okay, John, yes, I'll touch on gold as well. I mean, I'm on gold right now, so I'll go through it. But yeah, in terms of gold, I'm looking at some downside. Again, I'm not really interested in gold, to be honest. I was looking for buys at the start of the week, but we kind of left me behind. I did say for the past 2-3 days, I've been looking for a move down back into the low, and then hopefully find some buys on the retest, and then look for some entries there to take it higher. So that has been the plan there for gold. Unfortunately, price kind of moved down halfway, and now it's pushing bullish. Maybe we are still going to do that move and get me my buy and be on our way. So that could still be a possibility, but we've got to kind of reject this area. If we start breaking structure, aka taking out this high, this was the swing high that gave us the swing low. So breaking that would be breaking structure, not a good sign for the bears. So if we do that, then yeah, maybe gold is actually just going to push back to the moon. But for now, we're still holding that area. It's a nice place to short. You can see prices kind of just moving sideways and stalling. So maybe if we can see some momentum kick back in, nice strong bearish close, that could be a nice entry, something like that. Stop loss above the high, and then again, looking for a swing to the low. So that's kind of what I would be looking for gold at this price. Like I said, silver looks a little bit better to me, so that's where my focus is at. But again, it's pretty much the same move. Both looking for a sell, both coming back into nice areas of supply resistance. So it just depends if they set up or not. But yeah, dollar's looking pretty weak right now, so that needs to reverse, or gold and silver can become really weak for us to see that move. But yeah, hopefully that made sense. In terms of dollar yen, I'm looking for buys. Now, again, if you're in the sells, fantastic. You caught a lovely move there. But if you're not in the sells, that ship is kind of sailed unless we do see another pullback. Now, the only reason why I was looking to sell, well, it's not the only reason, a reason why I was looking to sell dollar yen this week was because we had a massive level just below us. So if I go to the weekly chart, we've got a lovely level of resistance here, which is now going to be acting as support. So the plan this week was hopefully we can see a move up first for dollar yen, and then a move down, and then some buys towards the end of the week. And we're kind of seeing that come into fruition. It's just we just missed out on this low. So this is where I was looking to short from this week. We just missed out by like 4 or 5 pips, unfortunately. Yeah, that is really unfortunate, but yeah, that's the game sometimes. So just missed out on that low. So would have been a nice short, but just missed out on the entries. We did have a nice dive there, so now we're back in that weekly level. So I wouldn't look at shorts now because we are trading in that weekly level support. Yes, we could break it, but I'd rather be looking for buys at this major support rather than sell. So for me, this is now bullish territory for dollar yen. Price is quite stretched. We're back in a big level. There's reason for us to see some upside. However, we've got to be smart with it because there is a lot of bearish momentum right now with dollar yen, and we're bleeding to the downside. So looking to take buys here, you're definitely taking a bit more of an aggressive position. You'll be up against it. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to be patient. So I'm gonna be waiting for a lot of evidence that we're holding on to this level before I do take any trades. At the moment, still looking pretty bearish, and I won't be jumping into anything. I won't be jumping into anything because we're still looking really bearish. And for all I know, this level could be set to break. It's a strong level because we had some really nice rejections previously, but support and resistance break all the time, and maybe this level is just going to break. So I have to keep in mind that possibility as well. It's a nice place for a buy, but let's wait for evidence that we are holding. So far, we're not getting that. But yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at dollar yen. I'm looking for buys on a nice level of support, looking for a move up higher. And again, it might just be a shorter term move and then price sells off again, but at least we can still profit on this. So it'll probably still be worthwhile. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with dollar yen, and a lot of yen pairs I have a similar bias to. You had a really big move down. Now we're back at some major support, at least expecting retracement, but who knows, maybe it's for a big reversal. What's up, Mastic Forex? No problem. Better late than never. Again, I'm always live from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. every weekday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So yeah, and of course, all streams are on the channel anyway. So if you do miss it, you can still flick back through a stream if you want to. Anyway, please can you analyze the XY followed by pound USD? I want to compare something. Okay. So yeah, with pound, with the DXY. So yeah, DXY, I'm looking for a move down. We're seeing some nice momentum here, but this was the area I was talking about this week of my weekly analysis. I said I'm expecting some upside for dollar this week, back into this area. If you broke through that, I did mention some areas up here as well, but of course that didn't quite happen. Really nice rejection at that high, really nice move down. So I think going forward for dollar, I'm looking at this. Might have a bit of a mini pullback, but I'm expecting us to push into the low. We got the Fed interest rate this evening, so it's going to be a big evening today for the dollar. But purely from a technical standpoint, I would expect more downside back into the low at 103.700. Um, all right, appreciate it, William. Have a fantastic day, my man. We'll see you tomorrow. And that is a lovely message there as well. Let me just put that on the screen. Don't forget to like, people. If you guys are enjoying the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. Appreciate everyone who has liked and subscribed so far, of course. Make sure you do hit the bell as well so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, because, of course, you'll be notified. And, of course, check out the Discord channel there. Completely free to join. Link at the top of the chat. But yeah, have a good one, Will. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with the DXY. In terms of pound, I'm looking for the exact opposite. So I do like a bit of synchronicity between DXY and pound, because I'm favoring a move down for dollar and I'm favoring a move up for pound. So the correlation is in check. Hasn't always been in check past couple of weeks, but at least for now, it makes some sense. So yeah, pound, I'm looking for a big move higher. Again, on the daily chart, we've got lovely price action here. Again, as simple and straightforward as it gets. Impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse correction. Looking for another impulse. So straightforward stuff there for pound. We're pushing back into a really nice level of prior resistance here. Of course, as we now turn support. So the plan is I'm just looking for a long over here for a big buy back to the high there, and possibly higher as well. So that is basically the plan I have with pound USD. The trick is just looking for good entries now, and also, yeah, with the news later today, it just becomes a little bit tricky, because if you do get a nice little entry now, you know, you kind of run the risk of seeing price kind of wick back and forth when the news comes out, stopping you out and possibly seeing a moving in a direction. So it might be a smarter play to actually wait for after the news, maybe tomorrow morning, or maybe directly after the news. We'll see how things shape up in the afternoon. Yeah, entering now is just a little bit risky. And even anyway, from a technical point of view, I want another push down first. I want price to come right back into the low. And then I will discuss some longs. So yeah, I want another move down first, and then I'll discuss some longs, and hopefully we'll get another move higher. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound. And euro, I think we can probably see a similar move as well. It's just I don't really like euro at all, because this market is just moving so sideways. I do think we can do something like this. Again, lovely move up, down, up, down. I'm looking like that for euro, but it's a bit more of a stretch given the conditions, because this to me is just a big old range. So I don't want to look at price action in too much detail, plot swings, plot highs, just because in these conditions, you're not going to get the best and optimal opportunities, especially when you have a more trending approach to the market, like myself. My edge comes in trending markets. It's the idea that, okay, the trend is likely going to continue, then reverse. So you can use that to your advantage. If the market's likely going to continue in a direction rather than move the opposite way, then okay, generally I'm just going to keep looking to trade in that direction then. So you can kind of formulate an edge within that. But in a range, especially in the middle of it, it's just completely 50-50. It's difficult to say what the market's going to do next. Sure, you might have your bias, but it might not be worthwhile to actually trade it. And that's kind of the situation I'm in. So euro, I favor that to happen. But like I said, I'm not looking to trade euro at all. Pound USD is where my attention will be. Aussie dollar, another awkward one. That one had a bit of a sell-off as well. Again, the Aussie news causing some weakness. Not much compared to the previous week. We were very, very bearish last week. Seeing some downside this week, but nothing the same. And again, you would kind of expect that anyway. Market's a little bit stretched, needs to take a breather. Although I say that, we've still got major news coming out this week. We might still end up really, really bearish. But anyway, in terms of the higher time frames, again, it's a similar situation to NZD/USD. We're still pretty consistent with all of these lower highs. Completely missed that. There we go. So as long as price keeps up these lower highs, I would have that higher time frame bearish bias in the market. And I'll expect us to eventually make our way to that low. We're just taking our sweet time. USD news up or down? Which news are you talking about? Are you talking about the Fed interest rate in the afternoon? Well, again, rates are expected to stay the same, I think. Yeah, rates are expected to stay the same. But it just depends what the rates come out as, because if they do come out the same, or they come out different from 5.5, then you're going to see whole different reactions. Purely from a technical standpoint, I do favor more downside for dollar. So I would anticipate more weakness for USD. But again, you have to take that with a pinch of salt, because sometimes what we'll see will happen is the news might be bearish for USD, but there's a good chance we could potentially push up first. So we could start pushing to the upside quite heavily, and that will attract some buys in the market. And then we sell off maybe when the press conference happens at 7:30. We do see that happen a lot. Sometimes the news will come out, push the market one way, and the press conference will come out, push the market the other way. So when we do have that 7 o'clock news release, be prepared for 7:30 as well, or wherever it is in the time zone you're in, because that press conference can definitely turn things around or accelerate things. And to be fair, we actually do have some dollar news at 115 as well. I assume you're talking about the Fed interest rate. If you're talking about the 115 news, then I'm not too sure about that one. To be honest, I'm not really too bothered about that one. Yes, it might move the market a little bit, but the Fed is really where all the eyes will be at today. So that's kind of where my attention will lie. But we do have some dollar news at 115 as well. So, keep an eye on that too. But yeah, it's going to be a very crazy end to the week, because tomorrow we've got a bunch of PMI news. We've got Euro unemployment rate at 10. We've got Bank of England at 12. Rates are supposed to be cut by 0.25 for pound. I see some weakness there for pound, which is not good for my pound USD long, but we'll see. And then we've got jobless claims for USD at 130. PMI for CAD, PMI for dollar at 230, 245. And then Friday, we've got NFP. So yeah, lovely, lovely week in terms of news. But again, I'm not a very fundamental trader, very, very technical based. So I would derive my bias based on market sentiment. And again, when you are using technicals, you want to have a plan of how you're going to come up with your bias. And the best way I've found to do that is just use higher time frame direction, because especially if you're technicals and you're kind of focusing on like the intraday time frames, hourly, 30-minute, and you're using that for your bias, things can get cloudy very, very quickly. When you use like the daily and above, then you kind of have a slowed down view of the market. Daily, weekly, monthly, either one of those time frames or all of those time frames to develop a bias. It slows down the market. It looks at the bigger picture. And the beauty of the daily, the weekly, and the monthly time frame is that it takes into account all the news that happens throughout and during the day, during the week, during the month. It takes that into consideration. An hourly candle, when the news happens, it will spike around and move weird, and the next candle will move differently as well. whereas the day it will inbox all of that news, and of course the week will inbox all of that news for the week. So it slows things down and it gives you the bigger view of what's happening in the market and the bigger trend at play. So if you derive your bias from the higher time frames, you're kind of sort of taking in the news as well with it, and it keeps you on a solid path as well. And then you can use your lower time frames for entries and refining your entries and maximizing your risk to reward. That, of course, all makes a lot of sense as well. But I think people who use the lower time frames to derive their bias as well are definitely cutting themselves a little bit short. Not that you can't be successful doing that, but I just feel like if you can use the higher time frames as well, you're going to have a lot more confidence in your trades. You can potentially hold them further as well, maximize that risk to reward, and just have more backing with every trade you take. So I highly recommend doing that. And again, for me, whenever I'm taking a trade, I'm always using the higher time frames to develop a bias. I might not always trade the direction of the bias. Sometimes I will go counter trend. I'd probably say about 80% or 85% of my trades are pro trend. And I will take that 15, 20% counter trend if it looks good. But I'm always using the higher time frames to my advantage. Always. Because again, with technical analysis, you're operating off limited information. So you're doing yourself a disservice by not looking at the higher time frames. But yeah, yen pair still looking pretty bearish. But again, this can change very quickly. So although, yes, we're looking bearish now, this afternoon, we've got the ADP employment change. I don't know, maybe that could turn things around. Things could be looking bullish. And maybe we're going to see some rejection at that time. And who knows, maybe the yen is looking strong again. But yeah, at the moment, not looking too hot. Yeah. And CHF, same thing as well. And yeah, just been pretty unfortunate this week because I was looking at the CHF pairs this week, looking at the yen pairs this week, looking for the corrections and the continuations. I put some screenshots on Discord as well, the opportunities I'm looking at. I think I put USD JPY, I put CAD CHF and Euro CHF. And yeah, it was just unfortunate not to get the retest. Not to get the retest of the levels I want this week. And that happens sometimes, especially when the market's just a little bit too bearish. Just a little bit too bearish. You don't see the correction you want to see. But then, it goes both ways sometimes. Wow, Euro USD is really pushing up. How's DXY looking? Yeah, DXY is still pretty bearish. I think Euro is a little bit strong though. How's Euro against the pound? It's pushing up a little bit. How's pound USD doing? Seeing some upside, but nothing crazy. Definitely in the context of the market, doesn't mean much. But Euro is looking pretty bullish. We'll see how that kind of does close. Again, like I said, I do think Euro can push up. It's had a nice kind of pullback as well. Push, pull back, push, pull back. Maybe it has another move down and then it pushes up. But yeah, I will be looking at a big move higher. What's up, Rick? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Yes, I will take a look at pound CAD. I haven't looked at pound CAD yet on the stream. Yeah, I haven't done much since we last spoke. So yeah, pound CAD is still trading at this level here. So it's still trading at a massive monthly level, and I do think we'll see price, take a bit of a reaction here. Profit taking the higher time frame, seller stepping into the market. This is a nice place for all of that to happen. I know we've been pretty bullish with all that momentum, but the market's quite stretched, and at least the retracement. I'm not saying the market's going to reverse, but at least something like this could happen, and then maybe we attack bullish again at some point. But something like that is likely. So I think it just depends how you're looking to take it. It sells. look good in this area. But as I mentioned yesterday, that the market's kind of consolidating right now. So what would be nice is if the market can commit to the downside and then look for some entries on the flip. Something similar to what Aussie New Zealand dollar did, which was consolidation. We had a really nice breakout of that today. Of course, the news did help with that, but it's a really nice breakout. So if Aussie New Zealand dollar would be kind enough to retest that level, I think there is a really nice short to be had with. And it's kind of a similar situation in terms of we've had a really big, nice bullish run. Now it's time for a sell-off. Pound CAD in a similar situation as well. Nice bullish run. Probably time for a bit of a pullback, at least to come back and retest the high here. And then we can discuss, where to go from there on. But yeah, something like that would be nice. And some shorts, because again, the market is doing a good job at respecting the high there. 1, 2, and 3. So there is definitely a sign that the market is struggling to break the high. We're running out of bullish momentum. This monthly level is holding the market so far. Of course, there's a possibility we could still break to the upside and continue. If that's the case, then we will reanalyze and maybe we'll be favoring some longs at that point in time if it's a healthy enough break. But yeah, for now, due to where we're trading, due to the fact the market's quite stretched, I would be looking at sells, and a retest of that level makes the most sense to me. And then, yeah, you've got nice little targets to aim for there as well. And I'm looking at something similar in Euro CAD too, back into a nice level, looking for a big sell-off. And it's funny looking at the CAD pairs, you can see such a big difference between pound and euro and Aussie New Zealand dollar. If you look at Euro CAD and pound CAD, they've been trending up. Pound CAD pretty well, Euro CAD not so much, but it's been trending up. If you look at Aussie CAD, has been trending up, but it's been selling off a cliff lately. NZD CAD kind of has been trending up, but again, selling off a cliff lately. That's kind of what I'm looking at for pound CAD and Euro CAD to do. See some downside, not necessarily sell off a cliff, but at least push down. But Aussie and New Zealand have just been so weak, so they've been falling, very, very well. Especially Aussie. And I would favor more of the same as well. How the indices looking. Okay, US 30 still looking pretty bullish, pushing up pretty well. Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time before we get back to the high. Nice little retest there. And price is already looking pretty bullish again. So yeah, in my book, I'll just be expecting price to push back to that high now. Again, we've got all the higher time frames favoring that same bias. I think we'll just kind of continue pushing. Brick, last news get, yeah, probably. Yeah, I think wait for the Fed interest rate in the evening. That's probably what will get pound CAD moving because we don't really have any CAD news today. Let me just double check. We do have minor. No, we've got a GDP actually. 130. GDP month on month. So maybe that might cause a bit of movement there for CAD at 130. So keep an eye on that. But even with that said, the Fed interest rate will move pretty much all currency pairs. So yeah, I think that will have a big say. But yeah, I think once the momentum kicks in, especially tomorrow, Bank of England tomorrow, interest rate tomorrow. So that will definitely affect pound, of course. But yeah, it probably is just waiting for news because it's pretty much consolidating on the 4 hour. Same for EuroCAD as well. Pretty much just moving sideways. I think dollar's doing a lot of that as well. Moving sideways, waiting for the news. But yeah, dollar is dropping. I mean, dollar right now is falling. I mean, yeah, we are falling pretty heavy. In general, we've been pretty sideways, but as of right now, we definitely are seeing some momentum right now, which I cannot argue against, which should be helping the indices push to the upside. Yep, US 30 moving pretty clean there. S&P, what we doing? Didn't quite make it to that level, did we? No. Yeah, I was talking about this area as a nice place for a buy. Not looking like we'll get there. I was also talking about this place for a sell, which I think we just about tested, or did we not? I think we just about did. Yeah, just about tested. So that would have been a nice little entry there on Monday. A nice sell off back into the low. I was expecting to go a little bit further into here, but didn't quite make it. I wouldn't expect another sell off because that double bottom is there pretty aggressive. Yeah, first rejection, second, straight back up again. So I wouldn't look to sell again. But what I would say is if you do break that pretty firmly, I would be looking at retest for some longs and a push up. Because again, if I go to the higher time frames, particularly the daily chart, this is still a very, very clean uptrend here. Very, very clean one. So if we break that resistance firmly, I think a solid retest, find some entries, and we can take it back to the high. Or at least the high here. So yeah, S&P is looking pretty bullish. Nas as well. I think Nas is in a nice area for a buy anyway. So this area here, really nice place for a buy anyway. This level down there too, didn't quite make that. But generally speaking, I think I think Nas can see some upside, at least back into this low here. So yeah, I think upside is likely for the indices. Mastic Forex. Well, the correlation is normally positive between US 13 and NAS. But of course, US 30 is made up of different different companies as to NAS, and of course NAS will take into consideration other companies as well. So they, of course, will be correlated because they do overlap, but at the same time, there's different factors that will affect them. But yeah, as of late, US 30 NAS has been a little bit off, but generally speaking, they're normally very much in tune. Same with S&P as well. But of course, there will be different factors that do affect them because they focus in different areas as well. But I don't trade the indices well. I don't trade the indices at all. So yeah, I don't really focus on that at the moment. I am getting in touch with US 30 at the moment. I'm looking to start to add that to my watch list. But yeah, I don't trade them at the moment, so I don't really focus on their correlation anyway. But generally speaking, they are positively correlated. But of course, even with correlation, it's not 100%. Same with even like Forex with dollar, like Euro USD and Pound USD, for example. They are very, very correlated, but not all the time will they move the exact same way. Sometimes their correlation will be 100%. Sometimes their correlation will be like 75, and they're kind of doing mostly the same thing, but maybe selling off a little bit harder. And sometimes the correlation will be way off as well. And that's typically when euro or pound is doing something crazy. Um, British economy is doing something crazy that euro is not, or vice versa. Then that will really tear up that positive correlation. But a correlation is not a thing where it's always constant. I think that's a bit of a misconception, because you'll learn that, okay, gold correlates with the DXY, which it does, that is true, but it doesn't always correlate. And there'll be times where it's actually inversely correlated. Positively correlated when gold is moving up and dollars moving up, normally in times of crisis. But yeah, there is a big difference between NAS and US 30 at the moment. But NAS and S&P look pretty much the same based on how they're moving recently, or almost the same. But yeah, I would be bullish on the indices in general anyway. Again, looking at the daily chart, developing a bias, clearly moving up very cleanly as well. Do you have a nice trendline confluence there? Yes, we do there as well. So that is beautiful for NAS, S&P, how we're looking. Do we have trendline confluence there as well? Yes, we do as well. So that is beautiful for S&P. US 30, do we have some trendline confluence? Maybe, not quite, but more or less we are pointing up. So yeah, generally speaking, S&P, NAS, US 30 all look very bullish to me in the higher time frames. And again, sometimes just scaling back to the higher time frames can clear things up, because if you're looking intraday and minute by minute, hour by hour, yes, the correlation is going to be back and forth. But sometimes when you just drop to the bigger picture, you can see, generally speaking, they are just moving up anyway. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward from that degree. And the buys make a lot of sense. But yeah, I didn't actually spot that trend line until now, actually. But that's a really nice confluence, I must say, for both NAS and S&P. So yeah, I was favoring the buys there, and that trend line even adds a bit more confidence to that bullish setup. And same thing for NAS as well. And the fact that dollar's looking pretty weak too, that adds even a bit more fuel to the fire. That'll probably help them move higher. How's pound looking? Okay, pound is seeing some upside, but again, I'm not quite convinced yet, so I won't be looking for any entries just yet. It's just a little bit sideways for my liking. I need that to push down one more time, and then I'll look for some trades. Gold, silver, I am looking for shorts here, but not quite convinced with the price action. Silver right now is just moving sideways on me. It's at a nice area where I do think shorts look good, so I'm waiting for kind of some entries. So if you can maybe push a little bit deeper into that, then I'll start looking for some sells. But nonetheless, it's in a really nice place for a short. Gold is a nice place for a sell, but as I said, I'm not really so keen on gold, so I'm more favoring silver at the moment. So I just take the shorts there, and again, they'll either both play out or both fail. So there's no need to short both gold and silver. Just pick the better one, and then focus on that. But then again, I'll need dollar to be starting to find some strength somewhere, because if dollar's weak, it's gonna be a difficult move down for silver and gold. Okay, euros pulling back a little bit. Yeah, that might mean we might get that down move I'm looking for. How's dollar yen looking? Okay, starting to pull back a little bit. How the yen pairs looking in general? CHF a little bit of upside, Aussie a little bit of upside. Again, nothing crazy. And yeah, so I'm looking for the buys down dollar yen, but need to be careful. Need to be very, very careful. Because the yen pairs, the way they're moving, is the type of market just to kind of sell off. And when it does sell off, it could just be a 100-pip move out of nowhere. And it doesn't even have to be news that you'll see on the economic calendar. Sometimes it will just happen, and it will sell off. So that's kind of one of the worries with buying yen, is that when you do have those sell-offs, you can get slipped. Antonio, Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin's not looking too hot. I was touching on this one a lot yesterday. As you can see, we've got a nice descending channel here. And as you can see, price came back into the high, rejected it pretty firmly. And yeah, I said this for me is kind of make or break for Bitcoin. Because if we do break through this successfully, then I do think we are in that next bull run, and we can really be on one. If you see a confident break of the high, then yeah, that is probably Bitcoin on its way. But at the same time, if we reject that, which we're doing right at the moment, Bitcoin can really just fall. Bitcoin can really just fall back to that low and maybe even further as well. So yeah, Bitcoin is really, really awkward for me. Because it's a nice place to sell, but at the same time, if you get breakouts, it's a nice place for a buy. At the moment, it's It's doing a good job at it. So I would have to favor the bears at this particular time right now, unless maybe, I don't know, the news happens, this week that might cause a big bullish candle break in the high there. If something like that happens, then yeah, I'll stand corrected. But at the moment, I do favor sales for Bitcoin. Entries around this area look good. And yeah, looking to take it back to where we came from, back into that low. Makes a lot of sense. Let me know your take on Bitcoin at the moment. But I must admit, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. Ethereum's just a bit weird. I don't really know what price is doing here. You've got lovely support there, forming some of these lower highs. Maybe price is putting in another one to push back down. But yeah, for Bitcoin, not looking good at that high. I think we can probably push down. The only thing that would change my mind is if we see a big bullish candle breaking the high, closing above, then yeah. Because what I'm looking at is this is a big impulse, correction, possibly another impulse. But if you fail at the high, that's a big sign saying that, okay, you're probably not going to impulse and post going to collapse. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with Bitcoin. Oil's looking pretty bullish there. Does that mean CAD's probably gaining some strength? Maybe. Not really seeing that, to be honest. But yeah, going forward, I'll keep an eye on dollar yen because I'm definitely looking for a long there. But it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. Have to be careful with the longs and the yen pairs, even though it's a fantastic level for a long and there's a lot of confidence there. At the same time, you've got to be careful because you are up against it. All of this momentum is against you. Euro yen likewise as well. I'll keep an eye on the buys there. Need to see some really nice rejection. At the moment, not quite seeing that. And yeah, in terms of pounds, just keep a close eye on pound as well. My watch list is pretty straightforward. But then, I say this now, things can change very, very quickly with the news we have this week. Antonio, pound Aussie. Okay, we'll have a look at pound Aussie. 1 second. Okay, pound Aussie. Where are we with pound Aussie? So yeah, this one again affected by Aussie news yesterday. This morning, big push up. I've marked out this high up here at around 1.99. It looks like price is slowly working its way back to that high. That is our last kind of major swing high, so it would make sense for us to get there. There's still a lot of bullish momentum in the market, and of course that was helped by Aussie being so weak this morning. So yeah, if you're on the lower time frames, like hourly and below, I'll be looking at pullbacks and just looking to ride that momentum back to 1.99. Create a really nice move there, taking out that high, really strong candle. What I want to see now is just a nice corrective pullback. I don't want to see any strong moves back down. I just want to see corrective moves back down, show that price is taking a bit of a breather and likely going to continue that direction. But we've got a lovely high over here, high over there. There's your higher low. There's your higher high. Now we're looking for that next higher low. And this looks like a reasonable place for a long. Broke through with a lot of momentum. Never had the retest. Let's go get that retest. Let's go get that next entry. And then we can look to ride it back into that high. And then maybe if you're feeling a little bit braver or you really want to maximize your risk rewards, you've got the 1.99 level just above us, which we might push into as well. But yeah, for pound Aussie, looking at more upside. And then once we get there, we can probably look at the sells. But for now, still pretty bullish. Mastic Forex on gold. Mark out the upside trend line. Okay. You talking about that? Possibly a buy here. So yeah, that makes sense as well. That makes sense as well. It's a reasonable place for a buy too. It makes sense for a buy. Like I said, for me, I'm looking at a buy deeper for gold, as I was discussing this week. So I was looking for buys down here and possibly down here as well. That has been my plan for gold. It just hasn't come to life. We well could come back and retest that trend line. I assume it's this trend line you're talking about and be on our way. That could be what gold wants to do. Yeah, I can't really knock that, to be honest. This to me is just a nice place for a sell, which could end up being a nice sell off to the downside. It might just be for a shorter term move into the level you were mentioning, and then we could see price push up. That'll be up to the market. Again, we're traders, not predictors. We just got to look at areas of value and trade between them. This is a really nice place for a sell. So this looks like a good place to short. If this is just a short-term move, we'll find out. If this is a longer-term move, we'll find out as well. But if you're looking for a buy, that would make sense there. So around 2,400, that would be a smart place for a buy. Just need to see how price gets there, how we react. And yeah, there could be some nice entries for a long. So yeah, I can't knock that. Some FX, okay, was up. We'll end it with ends the USD as well. So yeah, with ends the USD, I'm looking for some upsides, but I'm expecting a bigger down move back to the low here. I just want to see price find support first and push up, which is doing a good job first. It's doing a good job at the moment. But if you're not in the trade, you kind of missed out on the opportunity unless we come back for maybe a double bottom. So if you're looking for buys, you want to see price push down one more time at least, come back and retest support, then look for your entries there, and hopefully we can ride it back to the high. I have touched upon this being a really nice place to short. It's just way too far. That was the level I was looking to short for the past couple of weeks, but we just kept falling. So, I mean, it still would be a nice place for a retest. It's just difficult to see if price will make it all the way up there just for that retest. So we may kind of push up halfway and sell off. I don't really have another concrete level. This is the only one that kind of makes sense to me. But yeah, if you're looking for buys, we're at a nice place for it since we're at major support, as we can see. But I do think we'll form a lower high and push back down. So that's kind of my thought process with NZUSD at the moment. The 4-hour pullback. I'm not too sure what you're talking about. You talking about this? I mean, I'm not too sure because you said the hourly trend line. I drew a trend line in the hourly. I wouldn't know what other trend line you're talking about. I mean, I can see you've broken out of this high here. I suppose this is the breakout you're talking about. I can't see another breakout we've made. But anyway, we have come up to the end of the stream. I will be live again tomorrow. So do look out for the stream there. Same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. If I do get any positions, I'll let you guys know on Telegram, Discord as well. So make sure you check that out. Telegram is linked in the description below. Discord is at the top of the chat. You can't miss it. Completely free to join. So check it out if you're not there already. If you guys have found the stream useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. Appreciate everyone who has liked so far. And of course, make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But guys, have a fantastic day. We've got some big news coming up, so let's not blow any accounts. Stay smart, stay safe in the markets. It's not a sprint, a marathon. So make sure you're there to fight again another day. But appreciate everyone coming on. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to my moderators, everyone else as well. All do appreciate each and every one of you. Have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.